Do you ever sit down to pray? You find a quiet moment, a space in the quiet morning light. You close your eyes. You begin, Our Father. And 5 seconds later, your mind is gone. Where does it go? It drifts. It floats away. Back to the noise. Back to the list. You are planning lunch, or thinking about the blue light of that Slack message. In the middle of your prayer, you are thinking about that one email, the one you forgot to send, right as you are trying to listen. Or you open your Bible, the Holy Word. You open it, wanting to connect, wanting peace, and your eyes scan the page. They move across the words, down the chapter, and you reach the bottom, and there is nothing. You cannot remember a single word you just read. Your eyes were present, but your soul, let your soul exhale. Your soul was not ready. If this is you, you are not failing. You are not a bad Christian. You are simply weary. You are distracted. You are rushed. You are human. You are living in a world that worships noise, a world that worships the rush. It is not just the noise of the news or the social media feed. It is the inner static, the unrest inside your own mind, the endless to-do list, the noise of productivity, the noise of what's next. And it's hard to admit, but we have been taught that our value is in our doing, that to be rushed is to be important, that to be busy is to be alive. And this lie, this heaviness, it follows us. It follows us right into the holiest space, right into the presence of God. We rush into prayer. We try to fit God in, to check a box on a spiritual checklist. We want His peace, but we are still moving at the speed of the world. We want to connect. We crave connection, but our souls are not ready. We have not taken that crucial before you begin moment, that sacred pause that allows us to clear out the noise, that allows us to fully arrive. We are craving shalom, that deep, centered wholeness. But we are living in the land of the urgent. We are living in the land of distraction. How? How do we stop? How do we find this readability, this focus for the soul? What if the solution is not to try harder, not to fight to focus? What if the solution is not a new technique, not a 5-step plan for better prayer? What if the first step to spiritual readiness is not a what, but a who? This is the divine invitation. It is the first call, the first step to move from a rushed soul to a ready soul. It is the invitation from Jesus Himself in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11. Listen to His voice. He is not shouting. He is speaking to your weariness. He says, "Come to me." Not focus harder, not be better, not fix yourself first. Just come. All you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. He sees us. He sees our weariness. He sees our rushed hearts. He sees our distracted minds. He sees the noise. He sees the lists we carry in our heads. And He does not condemn us. He calls us. He calls us in our distraction. He calls us in our weariness. He says, "Come." And then he gives us the how. He tells us the secret to this readiness. He says, "Take my yoke upon you." This is the divine exchange. We do not realize it, but we are already wearing a yoke. We are wearing the yoke of being busy. We are wearing the yoke of distraction, the heavy, crushing unrest of the urgent. And I get it, the burden of the schedule, the burden of the phone that is always pinging, that endless scroll calling for our attention. And Jesus, in his infinite gentleness, says, that yoke, it does not fit you. It is crushing you. It is breaking your soul. Let us make an exchange. Take my yoke upon you. Give me your yoke of busy. Give me your yoke of noise. And in return, take my yoke. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. Why? Because when we are in his yoke, we are no longer in charge. We are no longer setting the pace. He is. The yoke of the world demands speed. The yoke of Christ demands presence. We cannot rush and rest at the same time. We are invited to choose. The first invitation to a ready soul is to stop the noise, to stop the striving, to stop and to come, to consciously unhook that heavy yoke of the urgent, and to step into the light, easy, fitted yoke of walking with him. This is the first invitation. This is the before you begin. This is where readiness starts. Not as a task we must do, but as a person we are invited to come to. Come and find his rest. And as your heart settles, just for a moment, a question rises. To come is the first invitation. It is a single moment of turning, a recognition that we need his rest, a willingness to exchange our yoke. But this is the question that whispers in the morning. How do we stay? How do we remain in this quiet place of rest when the world is so loud, when the rush we just laid down calls out to us? The peace we found in that first holy moment, it feels so fragile. The yoke of busy that we thought we exchanged, we find ourselves lifting it right back onto our shoulders. Why? Why is it so hard to simply be? Our mind, it drifts, it wanders, back to the noise, back to the list, back to the schedule, back to the distraction. We have come, but it's hard to admit we do not know how to stay. The prophet Isaiah, he understood this gentle, quiet struggle. He knew the secret to a soul that is ready. In chapter 26, verse 3, he writes this profound truth: "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you, because they trust in you." Perfect peace, in the Hebrew, shalom, shalom, a peace that is whole, complete, unbroken, a ready soul. And who receives this peace? Those whose minds are stayed on you. That word, stayed, in the Hebrew, samak, it means to lean upon, to prop, to anchor. Our minds, they are gentle anchors. The quiet question for us is, what are they anchored to? Is your mind anchored to the 24-hour news cycle? Is it anchored to the next email? Is it anchored to the what-ifs? Is it anchored to the rush? When our anchor is in these shifting sands, we are tossed back and forth. We are pulled by the current of the urgent. God whispers, pull up that anchor. Pull it out of your circumstances. Pull it out of your distraction and stay it. Anchor it on me. This is the practice of staying. It is the active, gentle choice to lean our entire mind on Him. We see this very peace demonstrated by Jesus Himself. Think of that quiet story in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4. Jesus and His disciples are in a boat, and a furious squall comes up. The waves are breaking over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. This is a picture of our inner disquiet, the waves of memory, the waves of the rush, the feeling of being overwhelmed. And where is Jesus? The scripture says, Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. This is the most perfect picture of anchored shalom. He is not asleep because he is unaware. He is asleep because he is at peace. His mind is stayed. The disciples, meanwhile, their hearts are full of fear, of noise, of the rush. They are distracted by the waves. They wake him. They shout, "Teacher, don't you care?" This is the cry of our own rushed heart. God, don't you see this list? Don't you see my schedule? Don't you care that I am overwhelmed? Jesus wakes. He rebukes the wind. He says to the waves, "Peace, be still." And the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Then he turns to them. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" Think about this. It is possible to have Jesus in your boat and still have a heart full of unrest. Why? Because their minds were stayed on the waves, not on the master of the waves. True peace, shalom, is not the absence of the rush. True peace is the presence of the King. It is a stayed mind. So how? How do we do this? How do we practice this stayed mind? The Apostle Paul gives us the divine prescription, the how-to for divine peace. In Philippians chapter 4, he writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." That is the gentle ingredient, with thanksgiving. Why? And I get it, because thanksgiving is the key. It is the action that moves the anchor. Anxiety anchors our mind on the problem, on the rush, on the distraction. Thanksgiving anchors our mind on the provider, on the King, on the master of the waves. When you sit down and your mind starts to plan lunch, you are invited to practice thanksgiving. Lord, I am distracted, but I thank you that you are my provider. Thank you for the food I am about to plan. When you start to worry about the email or that deadline at work, you are invited to practice thanksgiving. Lord, my mind is rushing, but I thank you that you are in control of my work. Thank you that you are my shalom. This practice, this gentle turning of the mind, this is how we stay. And the promise and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace, it guards your mind from the rush. It protects your heart from the noise. It keeps you stayed. And as we breathe in this guarded peace, we notice something else. The noise is still there. We have come to his rest. We have been invited to stay, to anchor our minds on him. But there is a reason the anchor feels so hard to set. There is a reason our minds do not want to stay. It is because the world we live in is loud. The yoke of busy does not let go easily. It has a sound. It has a volume. It is the noise. Not just the noise of the city or the traffic. Not just the noise of the news or the screen. It is the inner static. The noise of our distraction. The noise of our ambition. The noise of our fear. The noise of the rush. And you know, this is the great struggle of the ready soul. We come to him. We try to stay, but we are weary. We are exhausted. We are overwhelmed by the noise. We are distracted by many things. And in our distraction, we cannot hear the one thing that matters. This is the third invitation. It is not an invitation to do. It is an invitation to stop. It is the invitation to be still. But how? How do we be still when the world is not? When our minds are not? It's hard to admit, but we are afraid of the silence. We are afraid of what we will find in the quiet. So we fill our lives with doing, with rushing, with noise. Like keeping the TV on just for background sound. We run. We run like Martha. We run like the prophet Elijah. We find him in 1 Kings, chapter 19. He is not in a place of victory. He is in a place of total exhaustion. He is burned out. He has run. He is fleeing the noise of the world's threats. He is distracted by his fear. He is sitting alone in a cave, hiding, weary, empty. He is like us when the rush, that endless hustle culture, has finally worn us down. He is waiting for God to speak, to show up, to do something big. And God tells him, "Go out and stand on the mountain. The Lord is about to pass by." And then the noise begins. A spectacular, terrifying display of power. First, a great and powerful wind. A hurricane. It tore against the rocks. This is the wind of our anxiety, the wind of our rush, the wind of our chaos. A big, dramatic noise. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, there was an earthquake, the shaking of the foundations, the shaking of our security, the shaking of our plans, the noise of our world falling apart. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, the consuming, visible, powerful fire, the fire of our passion, the fire of our effort, the fire of our doing, the noise of our righteous action. But the Lord was not in the fire. This is the secret. We are like Elijah. We are looking for God in the noise. We want him to join our rush. We want him to affirm our anxiety. We want a loud answer. And God, in his infinite mercy, refuses. He waits. He waits for the noise to stop. Then, after the fire, what came? A gentle whisper, a still, soft voice, the quietest thing imaginable, the opposite of the rush, the opposite of the distraction. And that is where the Lord was. When Elijah heard that, he covered his face. He knew. he was ready. The whisper did what the wind, the earthquake, and the fire could not do. It brought stillness to his soul. And here is the gentle truth for us. We cannot hear the whisper of the Spirit if we are addicted to the noise. We cannot hear the one thing if we are distracted by the many things. The voice of God is quiet. It speaks in stillness, and it can only be heard in stillness. This is why the psalmist writes in Psalm 46, it is a command, a promise, an invitation. Be still. That word in Hebrew, Rapha, it means to cease, to let go, to drop your hands, to stop striving, to stop rushing, to stop doing. Be still and know that I am God. We cannot know Him. We cannot experience His presence. We cannot be ready until we are first willing to be ye still. This is the invitation to create space, to find a solitary place, to turn down the volume of the world and the volume of our own rushing minds, to be still and to know. And in this stillness, in this quiet, the final truth begins to surface. We have walked this gentle path. We have been invited to come to find His rest. We have been invited to stay, to anchor our minds on the one thing. We have been invited to be still, to silence the noise and find the whisper. But there is one final invitation. It is the secret that holds all the others together. You know, it is the answer to the question that haunts our mornings, the question that whispers when we fail. Why? Why, after all this, do I still struggle? Why do we come and stay and be still, and yet tomorrow we wake up and find ourselves falling right back into the rush? Why does the distraction always return? Why does the noise feel so loud all over again? It's hard to admit, but it is because we are still trying. We are still striving. We are still doing. We are, like Martha, still distracted by our own effort to be ready. We are trying to manufacture stillness. We are trying to achieve focus. We are treating our readiness like one more cold item on our productivity app. And that is the final yoke of busy that Jesus wants to break. The yoke of self-effort in our spiritual lives. In His final quiet moments with His disciples, He gives them the key, the secret to effortless readiness, the secret to lasting rest, the secret to fruitfulness. In the Gospel of John, chapter 15, He doesn't give a command. He gives an invitation to connection. He whispers, "Abide in me, and I in you." As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. This is the freedom we have been searching for. This is the antidote to the rush. This is the rest that stays. Look at the image. A branch does not try to produce a grape. A branch does not rush. It does not strive. It does not worry. It does not plan or schedule its growth. It does not read a book on how to be ready. A branch has only one job, one simple, gentle purpose: to stay connected to the vine. It simply abides. It rests. It receives. And the life, the nourishment, the sap, the shalom, the readiness of the vine, it flows through the branch, naturally, quietly, effortlessly. And the fruit is the inevitable, natural, quiet result. What is the fruit he is talking about? Paul tells us, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace. It is patience. It is gentleness. It is self-control. Readiness is a fruit. Focus is a fruit. Stillness is a fruit. It is not something you do. It is something that grows when you stop doing and start being connected. This is the ultimate secret. Your job is not to produce a ready soul. Your job is to abide in the one who is your readiness. Your job is not to create focus by your own strength. Your job is to abide in the one who is your center. We are invited to stop trying to be Mary and to simply abide in the one Mary was looking at. How do we abide? And I get it. Abiding is not another task. Abiding is the posture of the soul. We abide by coming every morning, not with a rush, but with surrender. We abide by staying our minds on Him when the distractions call our name. We abide by being still, by choosing the whisper over the noise. Abiding is the relationship that holds all the invitations together. It is the connection that starves the rush. It is the life of the vine flowing into us and producing the fruit of a ready, peaceful, focused soul. This is the journey to readiness. This is the gentle path to a focused soul. First, we must come. We must every single day trade our heavy, crushing yoke of the rush for the light, easy yoke of walking with Jesus. Second, we must stay. We must choose the one thing, like Mary. We must anchor our thoughts on the Master, not on the many things. Third, we must be still. We must have the courage to turn down the volume of the noise, inside and out, to find a solitary place and to hear the gentle whisper of the Spirit. And finally, we must abide. Readiness is not a formula, it is a fruit. It is the natural, supernatural result of staying connected moment by moment to the true vine, who is Jesus Christ. You cannot control the rush of the world. The noise will come. The distractions will call for you. But you can always anchor yourself to the one who is your peace. Spiritual readiness is not the absence of distraction. Spiritual readiness is the presence of the King. Which of these 4 invitations is your soul whispering to you today? The call to come and trade your yoke? The call to stay your mind on Him? The call to be still and listen? Or the call to simply abide? Let us know in the quiet below. Your story is a whisper of hope for someone else still caught in the rush. And if this time of quiet has helped to ready your soul, please subscribe and share this message. You never know who in your life is running on empty, scrolling on their phone late at night, and needs to be reminded of where true rest is found. May the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way.